Today, when a director needs a monster, an actor steps into a motion capture suit. Computers track their facial expressions and map them onto a smooth digital mesh. The transformation happens entirely inside a server farm. But in the 1920s, the special effects industry simply did not exist. If a script called for a terrifying phantom or a severely deformed character, the actor was entirely on their own. This was the working environment for Leonidas Frank Chaney. He solved this technical void by subjecting himself to brutal physical endurance tests. By strapping heavy leather to his spine and forcing wire hooks into his facial cartilage, he accidentally birthed the modern practical effects industry. On early silent film sets, actors performed over the noise of hand-cranked cameras and live musicians. Spoken words were entirely irrelevant. Visual impact was the only currency. Chaney had a distinct advantage in this environment. Raised by parents who were both deaf and mute, he learned from childhood to communicate complex emotions entirely through pantomime. Because his body operated as his primary voice, he relied on extreme physical alteration to give visible, tangible form to society's misunderstood outcasts. While his peers applied soft theatrical grease paint to look glamorous, Chaney built a harsh industrial workshop inside his makeup kit. Looking at this microscopic cross-section, you see his core chemical innovation, collodion. This volatile, syrupy solution contracts heavily as it dries. Mixed with cotton, he used it to forcefully grip and pull his skin, creating thick, rigid scar tissue. He extended this mechanical manipulation to his entire body. To play a fraud in the 1919 film The Miracle Man, he painfully twisted his legs out of natural alignment to simulate severe bone deformities. This schematic reveals the oppressive apparatus designed for the Hunchback of Notre Dame. He constructed a 70-pound rubber hump, held by heavy leather straps. The harness concentrated this massive load onto his collarbones and lower lumbar spine, restricting his ability to stand upright. Modern workplace safety laws would immediately shut down these agonizing, unregulated physical endurance tests. In 1925, he applied this same brutal engineering logic directly to his own face for his masterpiece, The Phantom of the Opera. This wireframe demonstrates his skull-flattening process. He glued his ears flat using spirit gum and fish skin. He coated his eye sockets in charcoal, simulating a hollow skull. Hidden wires were then inserted inside his nasal cavity to flare his nostrils, causing chronic daily nosebleeds. He finished the design with jagged dental plates to create a terrifying skeletal grin. Legend claims that when this face was finally revealed on screen, theater patrons fainted. Chaney had executed a violent, self-inflicted structural transformation. By the late 1920s, Hollywood abandoned silence and began recording audio. Chaney adapted perfectly. He manipulated his vocal cords the exact same way he manipulated his spine, producing 5 distinct, convincing voices for the 1930 film The Unholy Three. Later that same year, he contracted fatal throat cancer at the age of 47. Medical historians suggest the disease was likely accelerated by years of inhaling stage dust and highly toxic makeup chemicals. His obsessive dedication to achieving absolute physical realism ultimately consumed his body, halting his career exactly as the cinematic format evolved. He left behind a private vault of makeup notes. Universal Studios utilized those surviving blueprints to build their entire empire of 1930s cinematic monsters. Makeup artists like Jack Pierce studied Chaney's private experiments to engineer the heavy, square-headed prosthetics for Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. You can trace a direct evolutionary line from Chaney's raw chemical applications to modern practical masters like Rick Baker, who professionalized those exact techniques. Every silicone prosthetic and creature effect used in modern filmmaking stems from one actor who willingly endured physical agony to expose the pain of the outsider.